Yeah, kaboom. I just got to tell this while it's fresh in my mind. Because I just had a guy override the decisions of a 70-year-old man who doesn't have diabetes. And he unilaterally decided to not put sugar in the coffee that he asked me if I wanted. Yeah, that's right. After I told him 3 times, lots of sugar, little creamer, lots of sugar. He unilaterally decided that, oh no, sugar's bad for me because he's a healthy jogger out running on Sunday morning and everything. You know what? You fucking people that are into jogging, you're fucking morons. Know nothing about the damage it does. Know nothing about, especially running on concrete. Are you insane? And there ain't some lion chasing you or some shit like that? You're fucking nuts. All you do is produce these short, choppy muscles and you do the same damage in the same spots on the joint. You're fucking retards. Any of you people who consider yourselves to be health experts or to be health oriented and all this shit, I've seen the toxic crap that you eat. And it's clear that you've never actually you're actually incapable of doing the research in the National Library of Medicine and elsewhere to confirm that almost everything that you're eating is highly inflammatory, highly toxic, all that vegetable oil crap, tomato this, oat milk that, soy milk this shit. Fuck you, you're fucking nuts. There's really almost nothing worse than somebody. Okay, I'm going to drop off right here. Let me remind you before I go on to the ending of this story is that the guy who started the jogging craze in America was named Jim Fixx. How did Jim Fixx die? He died of a heart attack while jogging at age 56. You know, your longevity has almost nothing, it actually has nothing to do with your activity. That's the point I want to get on to is that before this huge $1 trillion health industry began, actually, it goes way back to Charles Atlas and the 98-pound weaklings, and encouraging people to live a healthy lifestyle, and because that's what it's always been about. It's been nothing about correct biochemistry and correct food chemistry. Never been about that. It's always been about preventing masturbation, crap like that. No, seriously, go back and look in the Kellogg's history. Before all this health industry ramped up into went from $1 billion industry into a multi-trillion-dollar industry, at least between the US and Europe. And there was only one because they were beginning to die off due to the suck-ass diet of today's modern man. It was published in several places, especially, not the least of which is National Geographic, published the last and only really good, solid. You're not going to like the ending of this. All you rainbow people are not going to like the ending of this video. The National Geographic published a summary, not an abstract, but a summary of that rather lengthy study of the oldest individuals on this planet. And what they found out is that exercise, living in hilly country, diet. I mean, my God, one lady, she lived to be 120 something years old, and her almost her entire diet, she was Slavic. I think she was either Russian or Ukrainian, and almost her entire life was, her entire diet was potatoes or potato squeezins known as vodka. She drank a quart of vodka a day, lived to be like 121 years old. The one thing that they didn't want to keep pointing at all throughout this study, although they kept throwing it in there because it's one of the factors. I'm going to go 6 minutes on this and I'm going to close it down. What they found amongst the oldest living people on this planet, diet had nothing to do with it. Smoking, one man rolls cigars like in Havana, just the nicotine coming through his hands and his thigh and stuff. He rolls cigars all day long while smoking 20 cigars. He lived to be 120 years old. So don't be giving me any of your bullshit. All you health experts. Oh, I read the it's in the magazine. And absolutely none of these things had anything to do. The one thing that they kept pointing at, Nat Geo kept pointing at, was that every one of these people that lived to be in excess of 110 years old, up to 140, was that they always had a opposite sex mate or sex drive, or the need or desire to be set at the same dinner table with their loved one of the opposite sex. They might have 100 mates over 100 years, or they might have the same mate for a century. But they didn't find any old homosexual couples on this planet. The only thing that all the longest lived people on this planet had in common, they're all dead now, is that they were heterosexuals and had a strong desire to romance and think about and be with a person of the opposite sex, preferably all day long, all the time. So you go out there and jog on that rock hard surface to destroy your joints, and you eat those stinking toxic vegetable oils and all that toxic soy and other crap. You go ahead and do what those idiots are telling you is healthy living. You go right ahead and do that shit while you live your gay lifestyle. Okay? Because it ain't going to happen for you. Really. I challenge you right now. Y'all go ahead. Y'all do search all day long. I'm going to go 8 minutes. You come up with me. You post on this video the names of any old gay couples who are together for more than a few months or a few years that live to be past, say, 80 years old. You're not going to find them. Clearly, heterosexuality and desire of the opposite sex is probably the number one driving factor in longevity. Clearly, diet, alcohol, drugs, smoking, none of this has, about the only drug you might say shortens your life is meth. That wasn't available in this study, not in any large quantities. This study was done more than 40 years ago, published about 30 years ago in Nat Geo, 30 to 35. So there you go, health nuts. Oh, and by the way, this is the same guy. I recognized him later. He hung a couple of sandwiches on my arm of my chair while I was kind of dozing off. And those sandwiches didn't stay in me 5 hours before they blew out my ass, because I wouldn't regularly buy those sandwiches. I ate them because I was hungry. It was cost saving. It's the same croissant, egg, cheese, soy cheese, and shit from 7-Eleven. And guess what? He brought me 2 more of them. They're in the bag right over there, along with the coffee that, despite my triple request, he decided unilaterally that the old man shouldn't have any sugar in his coffee. And I want to say to you, mister, don't ever stop and talk to me again, because you're a fucking retard, control freak, psychopath. The old man asked you for sugar. You were there. You put cream in, but you didn't put any sugar. You know what? And you know what? That cream was made out of vegetable oil. That sugar was that's actually glucose and sucrose. I needed that shit. I didn't need any of the rest of the components of that coffee that you gave me. You're so full of shit. You health fuckers are the dumbest motherfuckers I have ever run across. Almost none of you know anything about bio, and you will believe anything. You'll eat garlic by the handful because somebody told you it's healthy for you. That's how fucking stupid you are.